Around the world, nations compete in technology, economy, and military power, but few people realize that one of the most silent and unstoppable races is being fought in infrastructure, and in that arena, China has done something that no other country has achieved in modern history. In just a few decades, it has built a network of bridges and highways so extreme, so ambitious, and so futuristic, that even the United States has been forced to admit we've never seen anything like this before. These are not ordinary bridges. They cross mountains that scrape the sky, deserts that bury everything in sand, and oceans that swallow entire ships. They connect cities that were once isolated, reduce travel times from hours to minutes, and turn engineering theory into physical reality, from structures floating above clouds, to highways drilled through entire mountain chains, to bridges that survive earthquakes, typhoons, and the brutal forces of nature. China has proven that when it decides to build, there are simply no obstacles. Today, we are diving into 8 megabridges that have pushed engineering beyond its limits. Projects so advanced they look like scenes taken straight out of science fiction, and yet, every single one of them is real. Number 8. The Highway to Heaven. China's Yashi Highway is one of the most extreme mountain roads on the planet. Stretching 240 kilometers through valleys, rivers, and near vertical terrain, it climbs from 600 to over 3,200 meters above sea level, a rise of more than 7 meters per kilometer. Built between 2007 and 2012 at a cost of $3 billion, the project required dozens of tunnels, viaducts, and bridges that carved directly through the mountains. The most iconic of these is the Ganheiser Bridge, a massive 1,800-meter structure that twists like a roller coaster at 2,500 meters altitude. And on the very same route stands the Beipanjiang Bridge, officially recognized as the highest bridge in the world, suspended 565 meters above the valley floor, almost the height of a skyscraper. With projects like this, China has proven that when it decides to connect 2 points, geographical obstacles are not barriers, just problems waiting to be engineered. Number 7. The Endless Bridge. At 55 kilometers in length and nearly a decade of construction, the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects China has ever built. Completed between 2009 and 2018 at a cost of $20 billion, the bridge connects 3 major regions through a system of sea-crossing bridges, artificial islands, and an underwater tunnel. Before its construction, traveling between Hong Kong and Macau took around 3 hours. With this project, the trip was reduced to just 30 minutes. But what truly stands out is the engineering behind it. The bridge was designed to resist typhoons, tsunamis, earthquakes, and even collisions from 300,000-ton cargo ships, something no conventional bridge could withstand. This colossal structure is more than just a transportation link. It's a technological statement. China proved that it can connect what once seemed unconnectable, creating an uninterrupted highway across the open sea and redefining what modern mega-infrastructure can achieve. Number 6. The Celestial Bridge. In China's Guizhou province stands a bridge that seems to disappear into the sky. Officially spanning more than 2,100 meters across a massive valley, this structure rises so high that clouds frequently swallow it whole, earning it the nickname, the Celestial Bridge. Built between 2016 and 2019, the bridge relies on 3 enormous support towers, the tallest measuring 330 meters, about 30 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower. Dozens of stay cables stretch across the horizon, forming a visual spectacle that looks more like an art installation than a highway. With an investment of just over $215 million, the project dramatically improved regional mobility, connecting isolated rural communities and reducing travel times that once took hours. For locals, the impact wasn't just logistical. By linking distant regions, the bridge played a key role in reducing poverty and integrating Guizhou into the national economy. Driving across it feels almost surreal, as if the road itself is climbing toward the heavens. Number 5. The Levitating Bridge. In Yunnan province, China built a bridge that looks as if it's floating in midair. The Luqiang Bridge stretches nearly 800 meters across a deep mountain abyss, suspended more than 300 meters above the valley floor. From a distance, the roadway appears to hover without support. The illusion comes from its bold design. A single central tower, rising 150 meters high, carries most of the load through a network of steel cables, with only minimal support at the valley's edges. Built between 2019 and 2022, the bridge slices directly through the mountains, linking tunnels on both sides and dramatically reducing travel time across the region. With 2 directions of traffic and multiple lanes, it has become a vital transport artery for local communities. But the experience of crossing it is not for the faint-hearted. Looking down reveals nothing but open space, making the drive feel like floating above the landscape. Once again, China demonstrated that even the most extreme terrain is no match for modern engineering. Number 4. The confusing bridge. In Chongqing, China built one of the most complex road interchanges in the world, an architectural labyrinth known as the Chengchun Interchange. With 5 stack levels and 20 different routes, the structure looks more like a 3-dimensional puzzle than a highway system. Construction lasted 8 years, from 2009 to 2017, and cost over $230 million. 3 major highways intersect here, allowing thousands of vehicles to move simultaneously through a maze of ramps, exits, and elevated lanes rising up to 37 meters above ground. Drivers unfamiliar with the layout can easily get overwhelmed. Visitors often describe it as a traffic Rubik's Cube, and GPS systems famously struggle to give accurate directions due to the interchange vertical complexity. Yet despite its intimidating appearance, local authorities insist that navigation is simple, as long as you can read the Chinese signage. The Chengchun Interchange transformed a chaotic traffic junction into a masterpiece of urban infrastructure, proving that China doesn't just build big, it builds smart, vertical, and boldly. Unconventional. Number 3. The Desert Bridge. In the heart of China's wildest deserts, engineers built something many experts considered impossible: a railway bridge designed to survive relentless sandstorms. Known as the Desert Bridge, it forms part of the Hotan Railway, a monumental route crossing nearly 50 kilometers of shifting desert terrain through 5 elevated bridge sections supported by 434 prefabricated pillars. Construction began in 2018, and the full 825-kilometer line was inaugurated in 2022. Completing a circular railway over 2,700 kilometers that completely surrounds the desert. Trains can now travel at speeds up to 120 kilometers per hour in an environment that previously swallowed infrastructure whole. But the most ingenious solution wasn't the bridge itself, it was the defense system around it. To prevent sand from burying the tracks, China planted more than 13 million desert-resistant plants around the structure, creating a living shield against the region's devastating sandstorms. Seeing a high-speed train emerge like a mirage from a sea of dunes is something that would have sounded like science fiction not long ago. China made it reality. Number 2. The Dragon Bridge. In China's Qianlong mountain region stands one of the most visually striking highways in the world. This 3-story elevated roadway twists across the mountains like the spine of a giant steel dragon, climbing more than 350 meters in elevation. What stunned engineers worldwide wasn't just the design, but the speed of construction. China completed the entire project in barely 1 year, from March 2018 to May 2019. For comparison, there are cities where repairing a single pothole takes longer than it took to build a 3-level mountain highway. The structure uses over 7,000 tons of steel and massive amounts of reinforced concrete, allowing vehicles to climb through complex terrain without drilling endless tunnels or carving new valleys. By stacking the roadway vertically, engineers reduce costs and minimize damage to the mountain ecosystem. Driving across it feels surreal, like navigating the back of a massive mechanical creature winding across the landscape. The Dragon Bridge is proof that in China, infrastructure doesn't just function, it tells a story. Number 1. The Ferris Wheel Bridge. In Tianjin, China didn't just build a bridge, it built a landmark that looks like it belongs in a science fiction movie. Known as the Tianjin Eye Bridge, this structure combines a fully functional road bridge with a giant 120-meter Ferris wheel mounted directly above it. The wheel contains 48 cabins capable of transporting up to 768 passengers per hour, completing a full rotation every 30 minutes while traffic flows normally beneath it. Drivers commute to work while tourists enjoy panoramic views of the city, all within a single piece of infrastructure. Construction began in 2007 and was completed the same year, but the Ferris wheel itself wasn't opened until 2008 due to extensive safety testing. Engineers needed to ensure that in the event of extreme winds or mechanical failure, the wheel would remain anchored and not turn into a rolling disaster across the streets of Tianjin at night. The bridge transforms into a massive neon light show reflected across the high river, attracting thousands of visitors. Only China would combine transportation and entertainment into a single architectural spectacle. These 8 mega bridges reveal why China is now considered the world's new infrastructure superpower. From mountain highways that disappear into the clouds, to desert railways defended by millions of plants, to bridges that double as urban landmarks, China has repeatedly shown that engineering limits are meant to be rewritten. While other countries debate, China builds, and the results are transforming regions, boosting economies, and shocking governments around the world. And the most impressive part is that this story isn't over. New projects are already underway, pushing engineering into environments once considered impossible. If you've enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe and stay with us, because China's next generation of mega infrastructure may be even more unbelievable than what we've seen today. The world expected progress, China delivered a revolution.